I think that the whole securitization model, you make a loan and then you sell it off and it gets sliced and diced into something, went way, way too far. We clearly went into a situation where many of the institutions making loans really couldn't care less about the quality of the loan. And now the reform plan that was announced yesterday contains provision that you have to hold on to 5% of any loan you make, which is too low. It would have to be at least 10 or more to really make a difference. But that's the kind of thing we need. We had securitization for a long time, but it was basically all Fannie and Freddie. And as long as they were playing it safe, there wasn't a problem. But it went wild, and we really clearly need to move a long way back towards a more old-fashioned model of banking, which this reform plan is only a small step in that direction. In terms of the accumulation of debt, this has really been a 25-year process. It didn't start just when interest rates got low, in the early years of this decade. It goes back. In fact, if you look at a lot of the numbers, there's a break. There's an inflection point. I've got enough wonky people here, right? There's a break in the series, which is at the end of 1982. Everything changed at the end of 1982, it's not really that much of a mystery why. It's deregulation. It's the Garner-Saint-Germain Act, which the most conspicuous effect of which was to create the savings and loan crisis, but which generally deregulated finance. This is under Reagan. And what it did was not so much that it made borrowing cheap, because for a lot of that period, a lot of the 80s actually, borrowing was quite expensive. What it did was it really undermined the requirements for collateral. It became possible to lend a much higher share of the purchase price of a house. It became possible to lend people 100% of the value of a car in ways that were more or less ruled out by regulation before that. And that's what did it. And it took people time to adapt. And then over the course of 25 years, household debt went from 65% of income to 140% of income. And that's not the only thing that happened in the economy, but that's a large part of how we got to where we are now.